Okay, I think we can probably get started now. So, welcome to everybody who is here with us today. My name is Phil Gold, and we have Vladi on the line who's going to be helping us today. And we are going to be talking about uh, charts and graphs in Ultimate Forms, doing a little deep dive and building some stuff out so that you can get a little bit of a feel for what you need to worry about when you're doing this. Um, so as we move forward, first let me just introduce myself. As I said, my name is Phil Gold. I'm a longtime communications and learning and development professional. I was at Nike for 15 years as the global training manager for Nike technology. And I always tell people that actually sounds better than it was because the global department for training at Nike, with 80,000 people worldwide, was two people. Uh, but uh, as part of that experience, I got to use SharePoint a lot. I've been involved with SharePoint since SharePoint 2003. And I spent a lot of time using SharePoint and teaching people how to use SharePoint, and started using Infowise Ultimate Forms about 6 years ago on the recommendation of Microsoft. So I have some experience with the tool as well. Now, I left Nike in 2017 and started writing online courses for LinkedIn Learning, plus doing some other stuff. One of the courses that I wrote was a course on using Infowise. And the guys from Infowise saw that and they got a little excited and they gave me a call and said, "Thank you very much. And by the way, would you be interested in helping us?" And I said, "Absolutely," because this is a tool I'm familiar with. This is a tool that I've used, and this is a tool that I believe in. I think that you can get great results using Infowise that you can't with out of the box SharePoint. And one thing that I really, really want to point out, and I'll repeat many times during the course of this session today, using Infowise is basically very, very easy. I am not a developer. I am not a coder. I am a super user at best. And you do not need to be a developer or a coder or some really smart tech guy to use Infowise. It is created for normal people to use and get great results out of. So let's move forward. Now, some ground rules about the session today. If you have questions, it says use chat, but use the question box in the GoToWebinar interface. And Vladi's going to be monitoring that. If there are questions, he'll try and answer them for you. And then after the session, we'll go back through and make sure that nothing gets missed. If there's some time at the end, if people have questions, we can probably help out with that as well. We will be recording this session and it will be posted to YouTube today. It'll also be added, a link will be added to the Infowise site, so you'll be able to find it from a couple of different places. And we will be having a free giveaway for people who are here. We will be giving away an Infowise polo shirt. Unfortunately, we can only ship these within the United States, so that the contest will be restricted to people in the U.S. I'm sorry about that, but that's the way it goes. But if you stick around, you'll have an opportunity to participate in that. So first thing that I think we need to just address really quickly is why would you even want to worry about charts? Well, the whole point of charts and graphs is to add a more compelling visual representation of your data, to make it easier to see, to make it more understandable. Looking at lines in a list, looking at reports on an Excel spreadsheet, looking at things like that. Yeah, you can glean information from it, but if you want people to see something and get a message quicker, then using a visual representation is a much better way of doing that. You can help people towards the understanding that you want them to achieve. So adding visuals to your report is always a good thing. Um, Infowise gives us a bunch of different ways of adding visuals. I mean, we've got the charts that we'll be talking about, but we also have status indicators and KPIs and countdowns and conditional formatting, color formatting for list items, either by field or by line. So there's a lot of different options that Infowise gives you to make your information pop, to make it more visually compelling, to make it easier to understand. And I do think that it is important to explore all of these things. SharePoint out of the box does not do charts. I take that. There's one exception. You can insert a chart part onto a Modern Experience page, but the chart is not connected to any list data. You have to manually enter in your X and Y information, and then you can have a bar chart or a pie chart. End of story. That's what you get. So it's not really tied to the information that you have in Infowise. If you want to, or excuse me, SharePoint. If you want to use SharePoint information to create a chart or a graph now, you have to export that information to Tableau or to Power BI or to Excel and then manipulate it there and then re-import it or take a picture and put the picture in. So it's not, it's more work, it's more difficult, you have other tools involved, it's just kind of a hassle. So really, we don't want to do that. We want to make it easy, we want to make it simple, and that's what Infowise tries to do for us. Now, one little note about charts, and this is probably something that I don't need to say, but I'm going to say it anyways. You do always have to have the right data. I mean, if you don't have data set up that you can use for a chart, you're not going to be able to do it. And you need to think about what kind of chart you want. I mean, what is the thing that you're trying to show? There are so many different kinds of charts. And having a familiarity with the basic types of charts and what they can do for you is a really good thing. I will include, when we post this up, there's a great site that kind of gives you a breakdown of all kinds of different charts and tells you what they're good for. And I think that it behooves us all to take a look at that and sort of understand that so that we have a better idea of how we can show our data more effectively. So having the right data, really important. Now, I'm in the Modern Experience here, and of course, as you know, in the Modern Experience, if you want to work in Infowise, what we're going to have to do is go out to the site contents and then go in through the Infowise app there. And I'm feeling lazy this morning, so I'm just going to go back to Classic so that I can get to the prompt and the ribbon instead. Come on. Huh? Well, it doesn't want me to go to Classic, so we'll have to do it the other way. This is one of those times when there we go. It came back to us. Okay, so we're in our sales data list, and let's go and take a quick look at Infowise and take a quick look at charts. So I'm going to start with something really simple. We're going to come down to the Configure App Parts area and click into Charts. And we're going to start with a very, very simple pie chart. I mean, 90% of the time, you will be using pie charts, bar charts, and column charts. That's seems to be the thing that people use the most. So we will call this a pie chart. I'm going to select the display settings first, so I know I'm in a pie. Data settings. We will call this one sales by region. We type in a name. The name can be anything you want. And you have the option of selecting a specific view from your list. If you've created additional views and you've segregated out information on the different views, you can select one of the views for your chart information. We're just going to use all items right here now. Now, the x-axis on this is going to be region. So we go through, and this is a list of all of the fields that are in the list. And we just pick the one we want, which is region. And I'm not going to add a title to that. And then we're going to specify the y-axis. And the y-axis, first thing we're going to do is we're going to do sales, because we want sales by region, right? Now, for this, because this is a numeric field, we can do a count, or we can do a sum, which I think is much more valuable. So we'll do that. Now let's go back into the, have to click add, and that will add that line in. So we've now got region for the X and sales for the Y. Back into the display settings, and I want to show the legend on this, but I want to show it over on the right because I think that that is a little easier to see. And I think that's enough for the moment. Let's just save this one. We'll add that. Okay, we've got that there. And now we need to go back and put this onto a page. So I'm going to open back up. I've got a blank page standing here waiting for me to do things with. Ignore that. I did something funny. So we're going to edit the page. And we've got this nice edit area. Now, there are two different ways that you can insert forms. There's an old way and there's a new way. The new way is better, but I want to show you the old way first. So we're going to insert a web part, and we look over here and you see Infowise Smart Chart Pro. Okay, so we'll click that and we'll add that there. And here's the chart area. We'll just go ahead and click and say edit web part. And what you need to do on both of these, what you need to do is you have to add in the chart name. So on this method, you go down to Infowise and you put in the chart title. Now the chart title was sales by region. It has to be exactly what that was. So type that in, say OK, and it will add the chart in there for us right there. Simple, right? Looks great. Now, the other way we can do that, I'm going to go ahead and delete this one, and I'm going to use the modern method, which is truly better. You want to scroll down in the categories for Infowise and then pick Infowise chart and add that. And we go in and edit the web part again. Now the way this is set up is a little bit different. You click the configure button here and it will give you the choices that you have. So sales by region is the one that we just created. And we'll go out of there. And we'll say OK. And there we have it. Same thing. I mean, I actually think this looks a little bit nicer using the new version. So, you want to stick with this as you're doing this. Now, a couple of little refinements here. You'll see we've got Infowise Chart 5 is the name showing there. Now, there's a couple of different things that you can do with the title. And I want to show you this. You've got title settings as part of the, hit the wrong button. You've got title settings as part of the setup for the chart itself. So we can include the title in the chart. You know, we've named the chart here, that's the title. And we can include the title in the chart, and we can make that bold. So let's go ahead and update that. And now when we go back and look at this, let's refresh this. And you will see that it has added the title there. Now, honestly, I think this is a little cramped, so I tend not to do that. After after telling you how to do it, I'm going to say, maybe it's not the best way to do it. What I like better is, instead of including it there, I prefer just to go in and edit the web part itself, and in the appearance area, we can add a title, and we will call this now Sales by Region. Okay. And I think this looks a lot nicer to have it like that. So, you can do it either way. It's completely up to you. But that's what I would do. Now, I also want to talk to you about size. Now, you see this is, it's probably about 500 pixels right now. If I wanted to make this bigger, how would I do that? So I could go into the edit web part and go into appearance, and I can change the width of the web part. We'll make it 900 and say OK. And you will notice that nothing happened. Right? It's still the same. What has happened? Well, nothing's happened. Go away. So if we wanted to change this, what we need to do is go back into the charts and go back into display setting. And I want to change this here, not in the oops, cancel. Got to be in the right one. So we'll update. Okay. Now we'll go back in here and refresh, and you see it's now bigger, right? And it's spread out farther across the page. So the thing to keep in mind, if you want to increase the size of the chart, it's something that you do at the chart settings in Infowise. You can make it taller, you can make it wider. Some of these charts you really do have to make wider because they're very cramped otherwise. Okay, so that's chart number 1. Let's do a second chart. Let's create a column chart this time. So I'm going to go back into charts, and I'm going to create another one, and this is going to be sales by salesman. Okay, display setting is going to be column. And let's go back over here. Now, let's see. The X should be the salesman. Okay. Now, look at this. I've got color pickers for the different salesmen's names. Now, why do I have color pickers here when I didn't have them for regions? Well, very simply, because salesman in my list is a choice column, and regions was just a text column. If you create choice columns in your list, then when you go into charts, you will have these nice color pickers that you can select fancy colors for your different people. And this is kind of nice because it gives you a little finer control over the look and feel. So we'll do that. And the y-axis, we're going to make this sales again. And we're going to make it sum again. Okay, and add that. And then let's show the values, and we'll show the legend at the bottom for this one, just to be different. Okay, add that. And let's go back over here. And let's put this one in right down below this one. And we're going to use Infowise chart, add. I got to keep dragging this little control thing out of the way here. Okay, edit web part. And we'll click configure. And there's our chart right there, sales by salesman. It's nice using this one because you don't have to remember the exact name. It'll show up in the list. And that has a couple of other charts that were built for other lists, but they do happen to be there. Okay, and let's change the name, sales by salesman. And okay. All right. What happened? Okay, let's go back and look at our chart and see what I did wrong. Oh, okay. So, data setting, sales by salesman, right? Sale, sum, right? Display setting, right? Well, that all looks right to me. Let's tell you what, let's take it out and put it back in. Sometimes that's what you got to do. Okay, Infowise chart. Click out of there. Say okay. There it is. Okay. See, just had to do it a second time, but there's our information right there, just what we were looking for. This sum legend is not the legend I was expecting. I was expecting a legend for the salespeople, but that should be an easy thing to go back and fix. What I want to show you, though, on these, there's a couple of other things that you can do with these charts, a couple of other things that you can play with. So let's go back into this chart for a second and edit this. And I'm going to take the legend out. I'll leave the values in. I'm going to enable the 3D setting on this, which you'll see what that looks like in just a moment. I'm also going to change the background color and the area background color. And it's important to know which one is which because you can get confused here. So let's make the background color this very pale green here. And then we will make the area background color a pale yellow. And let's update that. And go back and refresh this, and those changes should pop right in. Okay, look at that. So we have a nice 3D effect on the chart now, which in certain circumstances, this looks really nice. So this is something that you may want to hold out for yourself as a way to stylize your charts. We've got the background color and the area color, and you can see which one is which because we've made them different colors. So you do have the ability to uh, once again add some nice visual pop to your charts as you're working along there. Um, it's not always going to look great. This is one of the things that you just have to experiment with a little bit, I think. As you are working with it, sometimes you'll play with it, sometimes you'll leave it alone, sometimes you'll make it as fancy as you can. You can add a background image in here too if you want. You can add borders. You can change the size of the font. You can change the font itself. So there's a lot of different things that you can do there, and you can have some fun. So let's do one more chart here. I want to do one more chart, and I'm going to do sales by quarter, I think. Sales by quarter. This one is going to be a bar chart. And my X is going to be the quarter because I've got that information in there. And once again, because that was a choice, I've got color stuff here. So we'll use some colors, blue, and you could really obsess over these colors if you like. I try not to get too wrapped up in this, but I do have a color code book, that gives me all kinds of great color code combinations. And there's other websites where you can go and get that too. So you can make this look really, really fancy if you so choose. And once again, we're going to go for sales, and we're going to go for sum so that we get totals. And let's make this one wider. And let's show the legend on the left. Okay. Are we adding? Come on. I think we're adding. Oh, it's because I forgot to do that. See, if you don't add that line there, it won't work for you. You have to do that. That's why I was having a problem. So we've got sales by quarter is the last one. Let's go back in here. Let's add that in. Insert, part, Infowise chart, correct. Add. And scroll down, down, down. Sales by quarter. And there we go, sales by quarter. And because I stretched this one out to 700, you see the numbers are not so. If I had done this default size, the numbers would have been very cramped. I knew this because I had played with this one before. So that's how simple it is to create and add the charts to the page. But I want to show you something else because I think that this is an integral part of working with charts. So I want to move stuff around a little bit. I'm going to make my screen a little smaller. There we go. Give us a little bit more room. And I want to change the text layout on this page. So I'm going to go over to page. Oh, actually, I'm going to go format text. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. Okay, I've got my three things on there. I have to find out what that JSON error is. and I'm going to go back in and edit, and I'm going to change the text layout. I hope you all know about this. But what I'm going to do is, instead of just one column, I'm going to make it 3 columns with a header. Okay, so now I've got my 3 things here, and I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to drag it over there, and I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to drag it over there. So I've got my 3 charts going across the top now. This one, I'm going to make it back to 500. Let's do that. Appearance. That should make those more or less even. More or less. Good enough for government work. Now, so we've got our charts. Wouldn't it be nice if we could do some extra dynamic kind of display with these? For those of you who've seen the demo, you know what I'm going to do next. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add the ability to filter on these charts. And Infowise provides a dynamic filtering tool that can be used with the chart information to give your users all kinds of interactive control. So I'm going to go back over to Infowise itself. I'm going to get out of charts, and I'm going to go into filters. Now I'm still working in the same list. I'm still working in the same list information. So I am going to create a new filter, and we will call this filter. Sales filter. Vertical layout. No, we want horizontal layout. This we can leave alone. This we can leave alone. And let's add in what things we're going to filter. So filter type. Let's do a choice filter for the regions. Now, regions was a text field in the list itself, but we can create a filter that will give us select, checkbox choices. So my choices are going to be north and south and east and west. Okay. Sounds good. Allow multiple values. Yeah, we'll allow multiple values. We'll filter instantly when updated. And let's go ahead and add this. And I can add in additional filters if I want. Are we adding the clear button? Let's add one more filter. Let's add another choice. And this will be salesman. And it is same name as filter. Oh, it's in column salesman. Okay, and I don't think I have to put in the choices here. I believe it'll pull them directly from the list. Oh, no, I have to put them in. Sorry. Let me go back and take a look at who those guys were real fast. Smith, Jones, Doe, and I got funny and put in a funny name. Okay. Okay, we'll add those. And we'll add that and then close. And then let's go back over to our page here. And I am going to insert a web part. And it is an Infowise part. And it is an Infowise filter. And I'll add that. And now I have to go and, oops, edit the web part. But once again, it's giving me the name of the filter here. I don't have to remember the exact name because I'm using the new method I can get that real easy. And appearance, I can leave Infowise filter, that's fine. And let's save this page. And now I've got my 3 charts there. Okay, yeah. If I want to do some filtering, I just want to see the sales for the South. Okay, and filter. Oh, well, I did it wrong. Dang. I hate making mistakes when I'm showing you guys how to do things, but this is sometimes the way it goes. Let's see what we did wrong. Place labels beside, show clear button. Okay, that looks right. I've got regions, which is a choice. I've got salesman, which is a choice. I don't know. That should have worked. Let's say update. Go back and do that again. As we had the issue before, sometimes things don't work the first time. Actually, I can cheat and show you. This is one that had been done previously, and this is one that we do use for the demos. And you'll even notice this is also on a Modern Experience page. This is what I was creating for you. So product category here, if we say appliances, then wham, it just moves right away. Electronics, instantaneous changes there. Clear them all out. If we look by month, July, well, there wasn't anything in July. April, month is not that useful. Region, Europe, there we go, by category. So when you set this up right, which unfortunately I didn't do for you, you can see that it provides an instantaneous filter for your users. So if they're looking for really live interactive information where they can drill down and get very specific facts about stuff, it is totally possible to set that up using Infowise. It looks great. It typically works fine, except when Phil makes a mistake. So, it's definitely something that I want to encourage you to take a look at and to play with. Now, one note that I want to make regarding using the second method that I showed you for putting in the information or putting in the web part where we were using where we were using the method here, going to Infowise and doing Infowise chart. So this won't work unless you install an additional extension into your apps. So let me show you that really quick. There is the Infowise where is it? Apps, my apps. Here we go. So I've got the Infowise Ultimate Forms in there, but I've also added the Infowise Ultimate Form extensions, and this is the additional one that you need to look for. If you don't use this, then you're relegated to the first method of installing the charts. It's not quite as good, although to be perfectly honest, some of the charts in the old method look a little bit better than the new charts. There's a little bit of inconsistency, But generally, you want to stick with the new method. It's easier to use. It looks cleaner, and it's a better way of doing that. I have not been watching the questions. I'm sure that Vladi has been answering things as they've been going along, but I think I'm probably about done with the stuff that I wanted to tell people today. So let's talk. I think it's time to talk about follow-up and next steps here. Next step number one, download the trial. If you haven't already downloaded the trial for Infowise, if you haven't already been playing around with it in your site, then we strongly encourage you to go to the Infowise site and download the trial version, play with it, use it. You will find an amazing set of uses for it. The more you use it, the more you will like it. So I cannot stress strongly enough the fact that you should be doing that. And once again, you watched me today. This is all pretty easy to do. Yes, I made a couple of mistakes. I have to go back and figure out what I did in a couple of places. But it's not anything that a regular person can't wrap their heads around. You don't have to be some science IT genius to do this stuff. You can be a regular old schmo like me and get away with it. The other thing that we want you to do, keep in mind if you buy Infowise, you will have unlimited support. It's included with the license. There is a 2-hour Kickstart training course that is also included with the license. We'll walk you through all of the basic features. If you need more, there is additional training available. We have a foundations training class, which is an all-day training class. We have a advanced training class, which is also an all-day training class. And if you need help, additional help, consulting resources, we can help you find consulting resources as well to build out your solutions in Infowise. So now, without any further ado, no, not quite now. If you want a demo, we're happy to provide one. You can request that from the website. It's a pretty simple process. The demos take 3/4 of an hour to an hour, and we walk through all of the basic features. Give us a contact. You can contact me directly. You can contact sales if you have questions. We'll be happy to answer those or send them out to the right person. And there'll be another webinar next month. I'm not quite sure what that one is. Actually, there might not be another webinar next month because we've got some live performances that are going to be going on. There is a show in Chicago at the end of this month, the big show up there. And then in May, in Las Vegas, the week of the 20th, there's the big SharePoint show. And Infowise will be at both locations. Will Cooper is going to be in Chicago. I'm going to be in Las Vegas with Vladi and a couple of the other guys I know for sure. So if you're around for those shows, then definitely come and stop by the booth, and we'll be happy to talk to you, happy to answer questions or give you a test drive. And we'll be very happy to see anybody who shows up. So now it's time for the giveaway. So what I want you to do, I want you to pick and everybody only pick one, please. Pick a number from 1 to 100 and enter it into the questions. I have the number in my head. The first person who hits the number is going to win. and then I will ask you to provide offline your email or your address. Haven't seen it yet. I'm watching. When the numbers stop coming in, I'll go back and look and see who got closest, if nobody has guessed it exactly.
I just wanted to say that the show is in DC, not in Chicago.
Oh,
Other
sorry.
than that,
Thank you, Vladdy. My mistake. Are you going to be at that show too?
unfortunately, yes.
Okay, it looks like, has everybody answered who's going to answer? All right, let's see who got closest. The number was 73. I saw a 76. I think the 76 is probably the winner. And the 76 is Laura Elam. Laura, can you do me a favor, Laura, and send me an email with your size and your mailing address, and we will get that sent out to you. And congratulations on winning a beautiful Infowise polo shirt. So, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate you spending some time with us today. And once again, I look forward to seeing you using Infowise and maybe seeing you at one of the shows. Thank you very much. I'll keep the line open for a couple of minutes in case there are any more questions, but the rest of you, you're free to go. Up. Laura, you didn't get the shirt then. I can't send it to you. Who's closer then? I think Stephen, are you still here?
No, Steven left, but we can contact him through the email.
Okay. All right. Okay. Looks like no more questions, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the show. And we'll figure out who Stephen was. Okay, Vladi, thanks a lot for the help.
Problem. Thank you.
Okay, bye.